Work. Okay, I watched half of the one we just made and then I turned it off. I'm tired. I'm tired. I like to sing about the moon and the Judah. I like to have fun. You know, I hate selfishness and I hate selfishness and I hate the stupidity that it breeds because selfishness is evil. You know, you try to trap the glory of the soul and the mind, and then your mind is better than everybody's, and you have to try to tell everybody what to do because you want to make yourself. I think it's like Judy talked about. You know, you become people constantly seeking comfort, and comfort is a reward of doing things well, right? You know, enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? If you don't get up and do what you need to eat, and if you don't get up and do, Little Red Hen and stuff like that. So, but the best thing is, like me and Haile Selassie talked about, 90-10, 80-20, happiness and contentment, bringing in the sheep, share, care, work, and of course, he built, stuff. So most of life should be basically just maintenance, you know, maintenance. Especially like when the most essential thing we can do is, shelter, communicating good about shelter and food and maintaining an ecosystem that has shelter built to last and then a healthy ecosystem that we sustain by doing things intelligently, not cash cropping, rotating crop, yada, yada, which we already know. And so, greenhouses are definitely a good idea in certain areas and stuff. And then we have to learn how to have it's not civilization. You have to have people population. I want to say disbursement population. In order for a population to be a place, you have to sustain the environment through understanding and humility, and obeying the natural laws, and then you have to maintain the ecosystem. And so it's not about what you want; it's about what you need, right? And so I got that song in my head. Hearts go astray, leaving hurt when they go. I love that tone. I want to listen to it on my MP3 when I'm done talking to you, macaroons. Okay. It's weird because the one I have, it says it was somebody else. But then when I go listen to one that says Carl Tarleton, I said, that sounds like Carl Carlton. But the other one says on the Dick Barley, there was different guys singing it. I can't remember who the other guy was. But I've heard, I think both, and they're both good. So, Gloria also does a good job. So yeah, she does. And but well, I prefer Carl Carlton. I heard him first. Anybody else like little Carl Carlton's Everlasting Love? Here I stand with my everlasting love. Girl, I need you by my side. Girl, to be my bride. Yeah, it's a really good tone. Yeah, it's excellent. Excellent. I like it a lot. It's right up there with Maxine Nightingale. Right back where we started from and Lead Me On. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, I like Maxine Nightingale too. Bill Dick Clark has a crush on her. She's just, they had the picture of the tiger on the mountain. She said, what a magnificent, how gorgeous she is. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't blame him. I'd have a crush on her too. Sugar pie, honey bunch, can't help myself. But the thing is, what's nice is, you have to make it understood, If you don't say nothing, be sitting around kicking yourself, right? Okay? If you play it cool, gotta play it cool, kid. And don't say nothing to Nichelle Nichols. And Nichelle Nichols will never know. Elijah was a wooden Indian standing by the door. He fell in love with the Indian maiden over at the antique store. Elijah, yeah. He didn't because his heart was made of knotted pine. So you gotta let him know. Yeah, definitely interested. If you're ready, Johnny Horton. If you're ready, I'm willing. There's a twinkle in your eyes. There in me to try. Baby, I'm ready. If you're willing. Okay. So, baby, can't you see I'm waiting? You making up your mind. You shouldn't hesitate. And can't you see we're wasting time? Right? Let's think that love is grand. Let me be your love of a man. Baby, I'm ready. If you're willing. Yeah, who was it? I was talking to somebody, but if you take such store by him, I was thinking about Kit Carson, and I was getting that from Manuelito and Barbacito, and they did not like Kit Carson. When you come and befriend people and you betray them because you think there's gold in them, their hills, and you mass murder their families because you think they're lying to you and they're hiding the gold. And Kit Carson, if you take such I don't give a fuck what Kit Carson says. Spit when you say that. Him and old fucking Andrew Jackson, right? All Kit Carson had the same. The only good Indian is a dead end. And they'll lie to you and that's not true. Oh, it was because I was sitting there thinking they were telling me about that with that Navajo guy when he was going to buy the house, and the real estate agent came by. And I told him everything that I could about the house, what I knew and what truth and everything that we did. And as far as anything, and there were certain things that, that obvious that might need replacement. I told him the truth about everything, straight up with the guy. Right? No, he was too smart. He thought I was trying to play him. I was trying to outsmart him. And then he went through and found other things that he did research on and said, have Dad do this, do that. Before I buy the house, I want this done. I want the sewer lines redone. I want that. He went through a fine-tooth comb and said, before we buy it, he has to pay for and fix all this. And I sat and told the real estate guy and the Navajo guy, if you do this, you keep bending him over, so you're getting a good deal. This earns this much thing. You get this, that. You're gonna work with Buddy. He's a good guy. Help you with that. So you're getting a good deal. But if you bend him over this stuff too long, he's a cowboy. He's gonna snap it off and tell you, fuck you. I just paid for all this stuff. I'll just stay here. Okay. They were trying to run me out and put me out in the street. Military scientists think they're so intelligent. And I kept telling him. I told him, I was straight up with him, because I'm like, Malachi Young's a lot like the spirit of his eternal father. He'd pray to him. I know a lot of you people don't think he exists. Just because someone was murdered off the face of the planet and all the people who are jealous of him tried to eradicate anything of his existence doesn't mean that the spirit of Adam Moses John doesn't know he exists. And trust me, Brigham knows he exists. Okay. And when you have a son, you love all your kids equally, but you appreciate them differently. And when you have one that's really worth appreciating. It was interesting, the way I felt there was a kid named Malachi on Judge Judy. And you could tell Judge Judy just loved him. Okay. We were going to name Crumb Malachi. Okay. And then I said that, and we were sitting there because she watched Angela's Asses, and she wanted to call him Malachi. I was like, yeah, but his name will be Malachi, and you can call him Malachi when he's little, but when he's older, he will be Malachi, the prophet. And she went and talked with Yorgev, and Yorgev said, no, Malachi means dick licker. I'm like, if that's whatever floats your boat in Bulgaria, but no. In where I'm from, Malachi means prophet. Okay. The prophet of the restoration of the Gospels through Christ and the redemption through Islam, through, Book of Malachi. Let it, live it, love it, right? So, yeah, and I was really pissed. Yeah, that's why we got into it. We got into it at the hospital, and I was mad. Well, she was naming him Krum Yorgev Fabre because of Yorgev, who tried to get him to miscarriage and yada yada, and then used him to get his nationalization to come here. I love NASA. And, at that time, because Amy was screwing around and embarrassing her, the Fabres kind of disowned her. And then, and everybody was trying to get Crumb aborted. And I was the only one that was participating in this that did not want to. I don't see abortion as a form of birth control. Okay? Amy was not raped. Okay? Amy met a trifling ass, dumbass, got a wife and kids in Baltimore. Jack went out for a ride and I never went back. Everybody's got a hungry heart. She met a military contractor from the East Coast that showed up at my house, and I told, don't go do this. He laughed at me and did the whole Hitch thing from the Will Smith movie, and I was like, ain't like that, bitch. I've got 3 girls in there watching this happen, and it's totally disrespectful. If you're going to go out and start sleeping with other guys, wait till the marriage is over and you're living in your own place. Okay? I don't do this to you. You shouldn't do this to me. And then I got offered, we can go home and make sandwiches by 2 really hot girls at Fort Bragg because they were mad. The women at Fort Bragg were mad. A lot of the women at Fort Bragg were stepping up trying to help me through that. They were doing the best they could. And I tried to explain to them, this isn't the right way, but I appreciate the shows of affection, the shows of attraction, that you're attracted to me, that you find me attractive because I'm trying to stop human trafficking just virtually almost all by myself. Okay? There are a lot of really attractive women, some half my age, coming up and saying, we'll teach Amy and all these leg lifting, government contractor, super soldier asses, And remember the little girl at the lesbian bar behind the thing who called me sir when I could smell the lotus blossoms when I was talking to her and thinking about Judah Krishnamurti? And she came outside and she saw me and she recognized me and she called me sir, and she was, treated me like an officer because I'm a gentleman. And there were good guys. There was Tommy and there was Tommy and Tommy. Yeah, it's my Tommies, right? They came and talked to me. You have beauty here. My mom came here, and there's the Huachucas, and this is where the Buffalo Soldiers were at. She asked him, why do you want to stay there? And then she came and she says, you have beauty here, son. You got flowers in the spring, and you got snow on the mountains, and yeah, the Buffalo Soldiers, he saw it as they found a place for fighting for. It wasn't it was a place where they could settle, where they were given respect by the Chiricahua, because they gave respect to the Chiricahua, and that's the way you guys got to see it. It's not a girl worth fighting for. It's people give you respect, and you earn their respect because you were respectful of them. Okay, you got to re-examine your Cochise County. I'm your Huckleberry. No, those were pimps running a prostitute town. It used to be a mining town. No. Mining is mechanized insanity. The Hebrews have explained this for a long time. If you need to do something, you will know why you need to do it and when you need to do it and how you need to do it. Don't put the cart before the horse, right? Tesla. Okay? The Tesla is a form of communication. Idea, it's manipulating matter. There are no ideas. You understand? It's understanding. Called understanding, a willingness to grow. When you examine nature, like the Confucius, okay, Thoreau. The other one, Sir Thomas More, okay, Utopia. Okay, Utopia was based off of the understanding of David's and Solomon's Israel and other people in the United States that were trying to live in a similar fashion before colonization. Okay? So there are neophytes in the world that are actually trying to live the ways of David and Solomon and have never heard of David and Solomon. Okay, because God's omnipotent. You got to understand how intelligent Sir Thomas More and Thomas Becket are. Okay, not were. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. You talking to me, kid? You talking to me? You talking to me? You want to talk to Becket? You want to talk to More? Then you're going to want to talk to me. Don't talk to the bastards who are... Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John. Who did Sir Thomas More and Sir Thomas Becket pray to have a better understanding of the Gospels? Holy Pascal's Triangle, Batman. There you go. Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. Julie Newmar. She's statuesque, right? So do you understand? McKenna's Gold. Stop. Is that Ted Cassidy? Girl. You remember that movie? Okay. But, arg. Let's build a cat. I love people. And the only thing I'm concerned with right now is the intelligence of technology. Okay. We don't need to build robots. Okay. To kill the other people with our robots to try to keep our wretched flesh safe with a robot. We're not like the people in China and Korea and all that bullshit, right? We're human beings. We have the best Wi-Fi in the world at Fort Huachuca. Okay? All the satellites go, boom, it's Parsons. Hi. How are you? I happen to be the Messiah. And bam. And then overnight, it takes over your system. You shut all your systems, no one sees it, but everybody in America sees it. And when everybody in America sees people like to talk. Lord, don't they love to talk? So when they turn out the lights... She's going to be leaving with me. And when we get behind closed doors, and she makes me glad that I'm a man, right? And so, Holy covenants, Batman. And so, that can happen at any time. And so the restoration of the Gospels can go national in the United States and then go global and totally kick your robot resources plans right in the dick so fucking hard. All the Blue Chew, the Roe, and the Viagra in the world can't keep you a 3-hour boner. Okay? Oh no, it's a boner. I was thinking about that the other night with Flink. He was reading April's diary. Okay? She would talk about, I was reading it. I did the same thing when I read it. Bob didn't read it. And he was laughing, but it's like, no, it's just, oh no, it's a boner. Yeah. You get it. You're reading it. She's looking at you with those big dark eyes and those full lips, and she's saying, what do you think of it? That you say you'd like to orally gratify. Son of a bitch. Me and Link were thinking the same thing. It was really hard. When you read that diary and she gives it to you, it's like, oh no, what? It's a boner. Okay. She says, one of us here loves Bob, and I think I'm it. No, me and Bob and Link were raised, and then she said, just because you become a young man now, it's just some things that you don't know. My mama told me. And, the nice thing about April and her mother, okay, is that they were completely honest about their sexual experiences and their sexuality. And everybody, you wouldn't have been using them for sex. You would have been enjoying sex with them. It's like, yeah, I understand. But when she told me that her dad got institutionalized because he had sex with her mother, and he was the man, with her mother while she was 3 years old on his back, that was like huge bucket of ice water. Okay. The boner went, okay. 3-year-old on the, no. Okay. No. Okay. I want to have sex. I just don't want the 3-year-old on my back while I'm having sex with the 3-year-old's mom. Right. And so you get that. And then it's like that. And then it's like, I know the Peruvians with the children. No. What? Because children maturate sexually for a reason. Okay? And when you isolate and manipulate sexually, you develop defective genes in the gene pool. We all know that, right? So Jasmine should be able to choose Aladdin and not get stuck with overdressed, self-absorbed Prince Ahmed, right? And his heart-covered loincloth, his boxers, right? That the Rush the tiger don't like, right? Which we all understand, right? And so Merle, because it's got to, first person you have to protect other people from is your selfishness, right? And there's nothing better than it's better by far, so bet yourself reach for that. There's nothing better than love. But the thing is love has to be based off of the understanding of holy covenants to sustain our life by protecting our children's capacity to maintain a holy covenant, right? Okay, so when you understand, me and Amy have had this talk a lot, and I was like, no, the compromise manipulations, they bombed us back into the Stone Age, Amy. Okay, because they were studying things in sexual activities and behaviors that are biologically conditioned into the mind, and a reaction from the mind reacting from survivalism in the environment because of violent sex cult survivalist behaviors that have longed to, hi, Shark Club, whoo, I rape and kill, I control the islands, I'm biggest, dickest, wah. You're like, dang, help, Kaya-Hui's help. Do you understand? And so you got to understand, okay, for every Jesus, there's a Caiaphas and a Herod. Okay? For every Pascal, there's a King Louis and a Napoleon, right? So you understand. And it says so in the book of Amos, okay? That the selfish will outnumber the righteous immensely throughout time. And then when they build their devices to try to protect their selfishness, which you cannot do, that will be their day of reckoning. That will be the day when, because when guys, People don't get away with bad things. It perpetuates bad things. Incarceration does not rehabilitate. It just traps the soul in the mind saying, this is what and so I have to, instead of, okay, I got to be in charge of the prisons. So I can abuse the people in the prison to get them to capitulate to my selfishness, as opposed to being the person in the prison because, like Epstein, no fun. I want to kill myself. He's not in charge of the money. He can't manipulate everybody he wants. He'd rather die. If I can't fuck her, nobody can fuck her. And then if he can't fuck her and he can't do anything about if I can't fuck her, nobody can fuck her, he's going to kill himself because he can't live because he's the Count Mondego and he just can't be second fiddle to Edmond Dante's there, right? Do you understand? God will give me justice. No. No. Okay. Anne Frank. God will give me justice. No. We're still mass murdering over the resources. People like Anne Frank are still being killed today because you're being creative with business opportunities by controlling the resources. In your head, zombie. Does anyone care? Well, yes, I do. My father, he liked me. Does anyone care? Does anyone care? Do you understand? Okay. I was raised to be Irish, even if the Mormon DNA tests say or not. Well, Dad has Irish in him too. It's funny, they say that in the in the DNA test that my father has more Irish in him than my Grandpa Murphy, that he's mostly British. I'm like, what? Holy shit. Yeah, like that movie with the white kid who's native by the Native American, and he teaches them word son of a bitch, and it's very important, and he's talking about the white guy. It's very important, son of a bitch. It's fucking hilarious. But the same thing happened, and that's why Clint, that's fucking hilarious. Clint, you are a nut. But he's like, yeah, let me get this straight. Okay. Your grandpa was most likely the offspring of a aristocrat from England that got the help pregnant, and then the help had to marry an Irish guy that raised the aristocrat kid to hate himself because he was Irish. Yeah. That's fucking hilarious. I'm like, you are a sick fuck, you know that? So like, it could be entirely tangible that my Grandpa Murphy is related to the royal family and that my mom could be too. I don't know. Do you care? No, it doesn't matter to me. It don't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me who has sex with who, like Lamont with the guy claiming to be his biological father from St. Louis, Whatever happened between you and what happened with you and my mom is between you and your mom, but this is my dad. Like the same thing with Steffi with Shelby, Okay, the leg lifter at the bar is your father. Amy did the same thing. She made the biological into this great, holy, and it's like, no, he had sex with somebody and then left. He hit it and quit it. Okay? You know who your father is. Jean-Pierre Fabre. Okay, that's your dad. Okay? And stuff. What if there were things that went on that were manipulated by the Temple Set Illuminati? Because people had to try to take comfort in one another because of abuse and needs had to be met, but we were bombed back in the Stone Age by the worst perverts in the history of human manipulation through bad science projects because they got ego problems. They have no idea, lots of money and no idea what's whack and what's dope. Trust me, I have no money and I know exactly what's whack and what's dope. Let's check what the guru wrote. Okay. I thought about writing some of those hip hop rhymes and stuff up on the rope, but I'm like, nah, if they come to me again, they will. But maybe I need to say them, maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Worst day of my life, what do you think? Right, you know what I'm saying? So, no. Hip hop was a way for people to express musically to pay their bills. Me personally, I'd rather listen to the Delphonics, the Stylistics, and the, people talking to themselves to music because we don't have the resources for music programs to listen to. There's a spark of magic in your eye, Candyland. When I was growing up, because they had this economic feeding frenzy off of people's talents to make lots of money off their talents and then destroy those people by making money off their talents, like Billie Holiday, The Temptations, David Ruffin, so on and so forth, right? And then you had to fight like hell to be part of the management movement to make any money off of the talent exploitation industry. And then everybody talks about what a horrible bitch Diana Ross was. Well, Diana Ross is a product of you. You invented Diana Ross. Like Tupac, America, you don't like me, you made me. Okay? Okay, so all you people that are hard on Diana, she was such a bitch and this happened with that. I love Florence Ballard too. But Florence Ballard wouldn't have been able to pay her bills and get out of the ghetto if it wasn't for her friend Diana. Like the little girl from Sisters of Voice said. She goes, it just so happened I had a best friend in church that has this really unique special voice that can help us all get out of the ghetto and pay our bills. I get so weak in the knees, I can hardly speak, I lose all control. There's something, and she said, we had good voices, but she had this unique style that people wanted to hear and liked to hear, and we knew it. And so we talked her into, we'll do backup, you do lead, and let's get our asses out of the ghetto. Right? SWV, WUV, right? And so, Sisters with Voice, right? And so they knew. She's got a ticket to ride and she don't care. And they knew that. Okay. Like when people, Danny, you sure you want to do that, but you're going to get a lot of people, and the only people that are going to help you are the people that are going to want to make money. And remember, hey, remember me, I'm the one who helped you make it big. So, and that only makes sense. That when you see talent in somebody that you help them out because you're going to need help. So I made it to where you could get your basketball scholarship and get to the NBA. Don't forget about me, right? Help me get out of this hell. Well, I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Stand up for me. I will never betray you. I will never forget about you. And you'll never have to play ball for a bunch of assholes with lots of money and no idea what's whack and what's dope, right? So check what the guru wrote. Okay, do you understand? Uncle my dad, he didn't like that. He thought it was my mother used to love me, but she died. I said, no, Dad, he's in California. It's Lola, because I told him about the song Lola. He goes, that's kind of funny. That happened to my friend of mine, Jim Powers. We went to a bar down in Juarez, and this girl came, sit on his lap, started kissing to him, and they started filling each other up. And he said, there's something funny about your girlfriend. Jim said, you're just jealous because she wasn't doing that. And then she got up and did a dance, and we found out that that's Lola. Okay, it wasn't. Dad was like, told you there was something wrong with your girlfriend. Your girlfriend's a dude. Kissed him on the mouth. Like, oh my gosh. Dad started laughing when I told him about Lola. I've never ever kissed a woman before, and I'm a man, and I know that I am, and so is Lola. Hello, L.A. Lola. Jerry said, Jerry Javier loves that song. It's funny. And then he finally got it. Says he's hated that song. He did not like that song. My uncle used to love me, but she died. I said, no, Dad. It's California. It's Caitlyn Jenner. It's whatever. Yeah. He's in California. He has an uncle that's a cross-dresser, like in California, like the person in the bar in the 50s that you and Jim Powers were in it. And he wrote a song about it. It's hilarious. And it's talking about living in California, being frustrated, not getting any love, being, I've read about hugging, and I've read about it, and I've read an illustrated guide. Oh, my uncle used to love me, but she died. Chicken's not a chicken until it's looking good and fried. I always keep on the sunny side. It's hard. You're in California, you got nobody to love, you go to the club, you try to meet somebody, it's a guy dressed in a dress, you don't want to have a good time with a guy dressed in a dress, this is that, I want to hug and I want to kiss, but I've only kissed another dude that was dressed like a woman because the woman didn't give me a time of day because I'm not the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, so it's really hard. Oh, it's horrible. Just forgive, debt, and trespass, and love one another in eternal, faithful peace. And then all you grope for in vain will take care of itself. And when you understand life eternally, there will truly be work for all. There'll be empathy and respect, and the servants won't want to be servants anymore because you can serve yourself. And if you can't serve yourself, then get up and help serve others. Okay? When people need help, give them help. When people can help themselves, hallelujah, brother. Food around the corner, right? Okay, guys, I love you. We'll just keep working. I'm fixing the technology. And if you don't believe that, if you feel entitled and you're entitled to believe whatever you want, you better make sure that it's faith based on reality and that it's faithful and based off the truth of your creation. Okay, because I'm teaching quantum computing. Okay, how to be supremely intelligent to its inventors that don't believe in the truth of creation, but believe in the delusion of their invention. Solitary confinement, right? Don't do that. Okay, I love you. It's because I love you. If I didn't love you, I'd shut up and say, okay, I'm going to let their technology find ways to expose you and terminate you if you have more robots and people walking around Japan or China. Do not think your invention can keep you safe from your lie. I am the way, the truth, and life. None unto the truthful, eternal, faithful love of the Father except unto me. Okay? I like Mogan Cycle too. I like Confucius too. Why? Because I trust them. And they love me and I love them. Okay, guys? I love you very much. All right, peace out. Mohammed, a rose must remain with the sun and the rain. This lovely promise won't come true. All right? For me, there's you. All right, peace out, man.